not knowing, most intimate. In the next few weeks, our usual schedule is a little bit changed because we get to meet all sorts of family members and friends in different circumstances, the holidays, the end of the year, the beginning of the year. That's a wonderful opportunity to notice how we are in the midst of these changing circumstances, in the midst of these arising expectations, to see, to be this moment, be this intimacy. And if I explain it, see how knowing, expecting gets in the way of our life, gets in the way of the joy, or creates suffering in the midst of this moment, this intimacy of our life. So, given that this is the last talk of this year, that there's going to be a hiatus, so to speak, in formal schedule of the Zen Center until the week after New Year, I wanted to bring this up, especially this not knowing most intimate. A way we can call it a koan, a practice, support, reminder for all of us in whatever way we work with it, of the opportunity to be the intimacy of our life, of appreciating our life, especially in the midst of the circumstances of the holidays, of the changes, and to notice if, where, how our knowing habits get in the way. If we want, we can take this koan as the life koan of who and what we are, who and what our life is, always. And yet we become blinded to this intimacy in the midst of certain habits. If intimacy allows us to notice the habits, to notice what we're doing with them, where they're blinding us, it will also offer, reveal, allow us to be the experiencing joy of this intimacy of the life that we are, which is after all what our practice is, which is after all what our life is. So it's not a matter of figuring out. It's not a matter of not knowing is most intimate. It's not is most intimate, not knowing most intimate. Don't have to explain, figure it out, do anything extra to be the intimacy that is our life. The fundamental point of practice, if we use the word experiencing, doesn't require anything extra, except when and how we use habits to blind ourselves. Habits with explanations, habits with fancy words, habit with reactive ways of liking and disliking, believing entangling us in what hinders what can't be hindered. This very life, this not knowing. Of course, we have to know all sorts of things. If you're going to have guests, you want to know what the menu is, what needs to be bought, what they will bring, and so on and so forth. Who's coming? And yet, not knowing most intimate. How do we live not knowing? Just be this not knowing most intimate. No need to think about it, no use thinking about it too much. Occasionally you might reflect on it and see how you can notice, do what's skillful. Notice our particular tendencies, and each of us have our own life tendencies that hinder, that blind us to this intimacy, which is what practice is the ability to appreciate and live the life of the universe that is who we are. So not having the formal practice of daily sitting with others, Mushin will announce what the schedule changes are going to be. So there's going to be times when you can't sit with others, whether on Zoom or live. And yet, knowing that you have many other bodhisattvas who are going to come to visit you, or that you will go to visit, myriad bodhisattvas who offer and reveal this not knowing intimacy of each moment to you, or give us the opportunity to notice how and where knowing arises, so to speak, to blind us, to keep us from hearing and sensing our very life, much less hearing and sensing all the other beings who are our life. So, not knowing most intimate. How can you reveal this open secret, this that's not secret, that is your intimacy? So can't be secret if it's most intimate. It's nowhere any distance, nowhere anywhere else, no how anything to do. You are this intimacy. You can't be other. And yet we can blind ourselves to our own life. So ancestors offer words, opportunities, if we want to call it a koan, which we need to resolve not by figuring it out or thinking it out or even repeating the words, but those might be useful sometimes. Being this not knowing that we are. Revealing and serving the universe as this not knowing intimacy. So I give this to all of us as a koan. When we return to Sesshin in early January, we can share this koan. You can reveal to me what you've discovered, how you've clarified this, and it can nurture you. That's the point, to be nurtured by the myriad beings of the universe and to nurture the myriad beings of the universe. Mushin will talk more about the schedule. So, in wishing all a good end of the year and new year, I will bring up Shanti Deva, who says, all misery of the world arises from self-centered desires. All true happiness of the world arises from altruistic desires. The not knowing altruism that isn't blinded by envy, resentment, revenge, self-pity, all of which creates suffering, and all in various ways and in related forms blinds us to the intimacy of our life, of being the Buddha that we are, of being the wonderful life of the universe, the wisdom and compassion. Thank you.